Midsummer duck protection. With game birds now worth more than gold, Paul is stalking foxes on freshly cut grass.
Foxes should seriously look out, but they're still there. There's still so many foxes.
High performance glaze. Motor racing legend Sir Jackie Stewart speaks up for shooting.
I gave it up because it was an amateur sport and I got married, and therefore marriage costs money, so I had to become a racing driver.
Plus Team Lupton. We meet the fluffballs before they become high-speed pursuit specialists.
You're not eating it? Yes, I know you'd like to eat it.
We're giving away a custom Form airgun stock priced at £600. We have news. We have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Game birds are a rare and precious commodity this year.
So do you know your pheasants personally now, Paul? Has it got to that point?
This is Raymond, or Ray to his friends. He's probably got about, I think he's got 42 acres to himself.
Oh, lovely.
Ray is one of the few pheasants Paul will have running around his ground. Bird flu saw to that. Instead, it's all about ducks for Mr. Childerley.
Have you lost many?
Touch wood, which I'm going to touch wood. Everything's a bit superstitious this year. No, I know it's been really good actually. A couple of the other ones we fenced. Don't normally fence ducks, but again, it's not just for the foxes and stuff. People walk where they shouldn't walk, and the dogs, and everything this year counts. So
you've already taken a few foxes off, haven't you?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the other shoot, Buttermilk, I think we shot 50 odd foxes this year.
No way.
Yeah. I can't believe, especially now with everyone with this like thermal imaging stuff, everybody's got it, everybody's doing it. Foxes should seriously look out, but they're still there. There's still so many foxes. So where are they coming from? Gremlins. Yeah.
To ensure the safe passage of these ducks from field to fork and not to fox, we're out tonight to keep the ever-present threat to bird life and to Paul's wallet in check. Helping on the cash front is finding cute ways of feeding the birds.
Obviously food's a major thing with ducks, and they shovel it big time. We've got wheat, barley, rye we feed them, obviously tailings, but so we also try and feed them like some of these bits and pieces like potatoes or carrots. Potatoes are choice this year. We've got a farm down the road, he obviously kept over a few extra ton, and so we're having a few of them off him. It's quite interesting. You dump them like this, and they don't really get into it. They don't really feel the love for it. And then once they just rot a little bit, they just start on one or two. You see, one or two they just started nibbling, and that'll be the ones that are soft and rotten. But once they get into them, they love them. They really? Absolutely, yeah. And it just saves, again, with the colossal wheat prices and pellet prices, it just saves a bit of a few costs, a few pennies. Bit of extra protein, bit of extra nourishment for when they're pushing the feathers through, because you find ducks from like 12 weeks old, they eat a lot of food because obviously they're growing the feathers, and then they'll tail off again. Once they start to colour up a bit, you'll find that they tail off. They won't push so much food through. If you sat there and worked out what a duck eats from, well, we got these 3 weeks ago, so beginning of June to November, you've got to be talking 25, 30 kilograms per duck. Got to be, which is,
what you eat.
Yeah. Protein.
It's a stunning evening with plenty of wildlife on show. Well, eyes and ears. Foxing is possible because some of the grass fields are freshly cut. Paul is confident that we will get something. The buzzards are a good indicator.
Look, all these buzzards here, look. These buzzards and kites are here. You know what that is, don't you, David?
Fresh meat?
Fresh carrion. Whether it's frogs, toads and mice, or young Chinese water deer fawn.
Is it just what we want, is it?
This is prime. No one's been on it yet. And we've got a railway track, got a village, piggery, and we got our ducks. So massive food source, loads of cover, and this is the first bit down. So, and it's been down for a couple of nights as well. Didn't get to it at the weekend. Yes, tonight's going to be hopefully a good night to mop up a couple on here. Feeling quite confident.
Now, there's good news and bad news about tonight's foxing. The bad, it happens to coincide with the dawn of the summer solstice, so it could be a late one. The good, tomorrow Paul is hosting the first ever HIKMicro dealer event at his lodge, so kit is no issue. Shop owners from all over the south of England are receiving a lesson in thermology. Not our word, but Paul Hodson's, old friend of the show and recently appointed Business Development Manager for HIKMicro UK and Ireland.
We're going to go through a little bit of technical with them, show them how thermology works, and they all pretty much know. Thermology? Is that a word? That is my word of the day, thermology. So we're just going to go through the basics of what thermology is, about net Ds and the noise equivalent, temperature difference, and do all the technical stuff. We're going to split into a couple of groups, and then we're going to take half the group down Paul's range, and we're going to do some shooting at targets. We've strategically placed stuff all around the estate, so we've got deer out and foxes, and we're going to have a plink and test the thermal scopes out.
So what's the question? What is the question that you get asked when you're at the shows?
Quarry identification. Can I spot and can I comfortably shoot a fox and identify it as a fox at distance? That is fundamentally what people want to know. Technology has moved forward that quickly and that rapidly over the last couple of years that I've gone from a thermal doubter to literally a thermal
Another phrase.
Yeah, that was full of phrases. A thermal doubter to a thermal addict. So I've got my 223 and my 222 now got thermal scopes on. I've got the Stella on my 222 and the Panther PQ50L on, which is a laser rangefinding version, on my 223. I've now been converted because technology has moved and it's become so advanced these days that the image quality, especially with the 640 sensors, the crispness of the image is absolutely spot on. And that's what we were talking to the dealers about as well. Because there's 384 sensors, 640 sensors, which ones do we recommend for which discipline that you're going to use? Do you need a high-end sensor if you're only going to be shooting rats at 40 yards?
Paul is a keen fox shooter and has already recorded some of his foxes through the new Stellar thermal scope, which we're using tonight.
Instead of Paul talking it through, who probably go, yes, it works, just explain why this is a bit different. Again, the tube is the way it's all going, isn't it?
Tube is what everybody wants. We've all seen the big square boxes on top of guns, but everybody wants something that's easily mountable on universal mounts, 13mm rings, on a Picatinny rail. Looks like a scope, feels like a scope. This is our flagship model. This is the SQ50. This is the 640 sensor. It's absolutely phenomenal scope. It's a one-shot zero. I use it on my 222. This is Paul's 243. I took this down the range earlier on today and I took a couple of shots for Paul. And this is absolutely spot on. I think he's taking it out tonight foxing with yourself, David. So if he misses, it ain't the rifle, it's Paul.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I guarantee that if he puts the crosshair on the fox, just remind him that if the crosshair's green, it's correct. But yeah, this is state-of-the-art technology in a rifle scope.
We head out just after 10 p.m. It's still not dark, but there's lots to be done. Sam and Paul are less off-bonnet, more off-sticks fox shooters.
Do you normally walk when you're with other guys? No. Okay, yeah, so we're going to walk. We're like into a bit of walking and a bit of stealth mode, you call it.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, we could go and park in the truck, but we're going to walk. That's what we do.
Sam spots using the HIK Griffin. Peeking round the hedge, and there's one out looking for morsels left from the mowing. Sam calls and the fox comes running.
Call him up.
It's neat and efficient, and we're off the mark straight away.
He come in beautiful. He come in absolutely cracking.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Let's go and see it.
No more like that, Sambo? Do that other one through. Yeah.
We leave that fox for a few minutes and cross to the neighbouring larger field. Sam places the call and selects the right mood music.
So generally work on the basis, use what food is around them. So there being a lot of partridges on there, I'm going to try partridge distress first. Just because they'll be listening for it, and any foxes working this territory on a regular basis will more than likely be used to hunting partridges. So that's what I'm going to try. There's not a lot of rabbits down here, so like rabbit distress generally does work, but if there's not a lot of rabbits, it's not always most beneficial to use rabbit distress. Just use what food is there.
Yeah. It's quite good, isn't it, walking? Just a different aspect. You've got these small little bits cut off. You don't need a truck piling in with all the noise and the lights and everything clunking. Walking nice and quietly, two of you. Say, ambush that field and come back a bit of a call in. And like Sam said, you know, hit the right bait, right food that they're used to hearing and attacking and chasing. And they'll come.
It's a well-tooled up dog fox.
He's been feasting on Chinese water deer.
So happy boy then, that's working quite well tonight, isn't it?
I'm chuffed with that. That's where the money was.
David also manages to get it on the camera by extending his IR filming range thanks to a wicked light illuminator from Scott Country. Returning to our first fox, and it's a vixen.
It's got damage. Vixen. Yeah.
And obviously happy with the way the Paul's set up your new Stella.
Yeah, perfect. Couldn't fault it really. It was actually very, very simple. Turn it on, press record, discuss the distance just because we wanted to see, you know, what was what. Took a little time on the first one because of wanted to get a bit of good footage, and there was no problem with it because obviously the wind was right and she was busy doing her own thing in the hay. And then Sam put the pressure on with a couple of squeaks and bang, she was coming. And I quite like this Stella because it's like a normal scope, so it's less cumbersome, better balance. It just feels like you're using your normal scope, just changing a bit of parallax or a bit of, you know, focus. Or it's so simple. Turn the red dot on the scope, turning the thing on, it's exactly the same. That's why I like it.
That was a neat and tidy job, and all within a few hundred metres of a housing estate. No vehicle noise, no lamps, just a moderated Sacco S20 in 243. We try 2 more locations, but with events to run and films to edit, we call it a night. For more information about the HIKMicro Stellar Thermal Scope, go to eliteoptical.co.uk. Thank you, Paul. Now from hot dog foxes to too cool for cats, it's David on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The Scottish Countryside Alliance is appealing to the Scottish Government not to ignore its evidence during the passing of the Hunting with Dogs Bill. The bill is making its way through committee stages at Holyrood. In its current form, it will have the greatest impact on landowners who rely on hounds to flush foxes from cover. It includes a 14-day licence for pest control and a 2-year licence for work which qualifies as having environmental benefit. The SCA says the government needs to take notice of the advice of the working group to adapt the bill so it's fair and financially viable for people who need dogs for their work.
It's really vital that the Scottish Government work with us and listen to us to try to design this licence that will work for everyone. If this licence does not, then many things will happen, not least the decline in red-listed species, the increase in predation on livestock. So it's absolutely key and vital for the rural sector that the Scottish Government listen to us and work with us.
The Great Yorkshire Show has cancelled an historic parade of hounds following a campaign of harassment by antis. The Daily Telegraph newspaper reports that the Yorkshire Agricultural Society postponed the parade after a stream of emails and letters. The article claims they came from a Welsh activist known to be linked to a SAB group. The report says a member of the organising committee has resigned in protest at the decision. Local farmers are angry that the show caved in to the attacks. Hounds will still be on display at the event. A Devon shooter is fighting to stop police revoking licences without a reason. As reported in Fieldsports News, Andrew Alger had his firearm and shotgun certificates renewed in August 2021. A few days later, armed officers came to his house at night and took away his guns, giving no reason for their actions. Since then, Andrew, who is so law-abiding he hasn't even had a parking ticket, has been fighting to find out why. He finally got a court date in June 2022, but the police did not supply the correct papers, so the judge has set a new court date for October 2022. The case may establish a point of law and decide whether the police can claim public interest to seize guns and revoke certificates without giving a reason.
You can't defend yourself if they don't tell you what the problem is, and if they don't tell you, you're on a loser before you even start.
There is a fundraiser for Andrew's legal expenses. Link in the description below. Scientists are joining forces to battle bird flu after the government handed out research cash. There were more than 100 recorded cases of avian influenza in the UK during the winter of 2021-2022. The government has given £1.5 million to a consortium of 8 scientific organisations, including the Royal Veterinary College. As reported in Fieldsports News, outbreaks of avian flu in the UK and France have pushed up the price of game birds and are jeopardising shoots.
For those people who are lucky enough to have got their supplies, their stock for this year, a key message has to be biosecurity. It's something that all shoots practice, but it's really heightened with things such as avian influenza.
Westminster MP Henry Smith has introduced a private members' bill to ban the import of hunting trophies to the UK.
Hunting trophies. Import Prohibition Bill.
Second reading what day?
Friday the 25th of November, ma'am.
Friday the 25th of November.
The politician is acting after the government dropped its own plans to introduce a ban. Lord Zach Goldsmith, made a government minister after he lost his parliamentary seat, had championed the cause, despite opposition from many African countries. They highlighted the damage to conservation and communities if such a ban were imposed. Private members' bills seldom become law. Meanwhile, international hunters are angry that the US Congress is introducing another bill to ban importing trophies. Safari Club International criticises the new bill for containing the same language as a previously defeated bill. The new Environment and Related Agencies Appropriations Bill includes a section which, SCI claims, will be a ban on the importing of elephant or lion trophies from Tanzania, Zambia and Zimbabwe. SCI says Congress should not pass a bill that ignores science, damages rural African communities, hurts conservation and negatively impacts biodiversity. In the latest of a series of similar attacks, a sloth bear has attacked and killed a 72-year-old man in India. K. Kadanda Rao was found dead in Sri Kakulam district in the east of the country. Police believe the same animal attacked a group of 8 people in the same area near a cashew plantation. 6 of them had to go to hospital. It also attacked 5 cattle. Forest officials later caught and killed the animal. They say the bear came in search of food and water. A shooter from Somerset is carrying out research on shotgun cartridge wads. John Myhill's MSc is on biodegradable shotgun ammunition at Cranfield University, and he's experimenting on a variety of shotgun wads to see how quickly they decay.
Well, I'm hoping to try and get a little bit more thought into what happens to wads throughout as they degrade in the environment over the period of the closed season. And on top of that, overlay what buyers think about the different options available in the market. It might be interesting to see when you match up what people's viewpoints are against what they're buying.
Part of the research is a survey of shooters. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to take part. In Italy, the reign of terror of wild boars could be about to come to an end. Rome is planning to introduce a boar cull to halt them invading the city. The animals feast on overflowing bins and terrorise residents. The region of Lazio, which includes Rome, has approved a plan to cull 50,000 boar, which is double the number killed last year. A national farmers' organisation says the country's boar population is more than 2 million, and the animals suffer from swine fever, which could spread to domestic pigs. A walrus in Norway has taken to sunbathing on boats. Locals have named the animal Freya. Her visits are causing trouble because of her 700-kilogram weight. She's damaged several boats in the port town of Krogero in the south of the country. The Directorate of Fisheries is now planning to put up a floating dock for the walrus to use. Thanks to Per Holmseth for the story. Scientists say a giant stingray caught in Cambodia could be the largest exclusively freshwater fish ever recorded. Locals have nicknamed the fish, which is 13 foot long, Full Moon because of its shape. It weighs 660 pounds and beats the previous record, a Mekong giant catfish caught in northern Thailand in 2005 that weighed 646 pounds. Researchers have attached a tagging device to the fish's tail to keep track of it. They paid the fisherman $600. And finally, scientists are baffled by a missing bird tag that was attached to an oyster catcher that flew from Dublin to Orkney. PhD student Steph Trapp, who was carrying out research, believes the GPS device fell off on the island of Sanday on the 7th of April 2022. The tracker, however, continued to send a signal. It travelled to a campsite, a pizza restaurant and a street in West London. Researchers believe a tourist may have taken it home. They're offering a £100 reward for the device, which costs £1,000. Steph is appealing for anyone who can help to contact the University of Exeter. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now, the clay shooting world had a sprinkling of stardust this week when Sir Jackie Stewart held a clay competition. James Marchington went along.
We've come to the historic Thirlstane Castle in the Scottish borders for a clay shoot with a difference. You can tell we're in Scotland by the refreshments on offer and the fact that everyone takes the inevitable rain shower in their stride. It's a 100-bird down-the-line competition, which is part of Sir Jackie Stewart's fundraiser for the charity Race Against Dementia. It's a cause that's close to Sir Jackie's heart.
Sadly, my wife Helen was identified 7 years ago to have dementia, and they told us there is no cure. Helen's now to a point where she can no longer walk. So I started this charity, and I want in my lifetime to find a cure for dementia.
Sir Jackie was a household name as a top motor racing driver in the 1960s and 70s. Less well known is his success at clay shooting.
I was a clay pigeon shooter before I was a racing driver because I shot for Scotland and Great Britain. So therefore I thought, let's have a shooting day before the cars start. So that's what we're doing here, and we've got some of the best shots in the country here. And it's the beginning, because there's never been a shoot here before. So the shooting is today, and then tomorrow are all the beautiful cars from around the world.
So why did Sir Jackie give up clay shooting and switch to motor racing?
I gave it up because it was an amateur sport and I got married. And therefore, marriage costs money. So I had to become a racing driver. And then I had to become a world champion to afford the sort of expensive wife I had. Now that's being a little over the top. But no, my motorsport came and I was very happy and proud to have it.
One shooter who's particularly keen to meet Sir Jackie is Gabriel Marchetti from Cumbernauld. He's brought along a couple of old boxes of Ely trap cartridges in the hope of fulfilling a long-held ambition.
Well, basically they were in the loft, and I thought, if I ever meet Jackie Stewart, because I met him back when I was 16, and I had the cartridges then, and I just kept them, thinking one day I'll meet him and I'll get them signed And there you go. Finally done it.
And you did?
Yes, well, we used to watch him driving about, but then, of course, all the shooting as well he was doing. You know, so it was lovely to be actually at a shoot that he was at, and it was an Olympic trench shoot. And it was the first time I'd shot Olympic trench, and it was really eye-opening, and enjoyed it, and that was me forever.
Yeah.
Constantly, that's it.
So Jackie was has represented Scotland and Britain shooting, and he was sponsored by Ely back in the 60s and early 70s. So we've had a long-term relationship with him. So we were the natural choice for him to approach when he decided to have this event in aid of the dementia charity.
Today's event is a 100 target down the line competition. So what cartridges would Tony recommend for the job?
We've developed cartridges specifically for DTL, so we do our DTL Golds, which is a 28 gram, 7.5 and 8 shot. But we've also found a lot of people are using our Superb cartridge as well, which we do as a 24 gram 7 as well as 28 grams. So they're both ideal cartridges for this discipline.
Ely shooter Becky Kibble usually shoots skeet and sporting, but she's going to give DTL a go.
Yeah, we're booked in today, booked in with my dad and a couple of the boys, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice just to shoot something different as well. Yeah, we'll give it a go anyway.
Living in Scotland, Becky does a lot of travelling to shoots around the country. So how's the increased price of fuel impacting her shooting?
I do a lot of travelling, so it does make it a little bit trickier. We've usually got a couple of people in the car, so it kind of helps out a wee bit. But yeah, it's not easy, but we still love it and we're still going to do it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Will you cut down at all? Will you do less travelling?
No, I don't think so. Shooting is just my life. I live for it. I love it, and just want to do it more. Want to just shoot. More the merrier.
Unlike Becky, Paul Chaplow shoots thousands of DTL targets each year. He's currently ranked number 3 in the country. He explains what he finds so compelling about the discipline.
Well, down the lines, possibly one of the starting level of the clear disciplines. Gets people up and running, but what often people say, it's possibly the easiest to get people going, but possibly the hardest one to master, because you've got to put nigh on a perfect or a near perfect score in every time if you're going to win. It is achievable, and that's what keeps us going and keep going to break the records, etc.
The scoring system for DTL isn't like other disciplines, where you get a simple 1 or 0 for a hit or miss.
We shoot a squad of 5 shooters, and we have 5 pegs, one each, and we shoot 5 targets on each peg. Each target is worth 3 points. If you hit it with your first shot, you score 3 points. If you miss it with your first shot and you hit it with your second, you score 2 points. But if you miss the target completely, it's 0 points. There's 4 rounds in total, so that means a total score is 300 points, and it's classed as 100/300. That's the perfect score. 100 kills, first barrels, that equivalents to 300 points, so that's a 100/300.
Paul is no stranger to that perfect 100/300 score. In fact, he holds the record.
Yeah, we've done a few.
Where are you up to now?
Last weekend we competed at Bywell Shooting Ground at the DTL weekend, and I shot my 174th 100/300. Yeah.
Is there a target? Are you going to get to 200?
We'll do 200. We'll keep going for 200.
And then what happens? Are you going to...
We'll see. I won't wrap up, but I don't know about setting myself any more targets after that.
So what's the secret to achieving that perfect score?
Get the fundamentals right, to be honest with you. Get the gun to shoot where you look. Before you start allocating around all over the country, this, that and other, get the basics right. Get the gun to shoot where you look. Gun fit, gun mount, that's it. You know, repeat doing the same thing time in, time again. Don't alter anything, don't rush, don't get flustered, just do the same thing. Once it works, do the same thing every time. Easier said than done, but yeah.
Today wasn't to be another perfect score for Paul, though. He scored 98.291. taking second place in AA class.
Mr. Paul Chaplow on a 98.291.
The top spot went to Matt Sheldrake with an almost perfect 100.299, meaning he broke every target and only needed his second barrel once.
Clay pigeon shooting has still got something to do to attract more people to it, and I think having it here is going to illustrate that, and we're going to have it even more important than it's been in the past.
Thanks, Sir Jackie. Now, you may wonder why we don't see much of Roy Lupton between spring and autumn. The reason is the sport of falcon racing. Roy has been breeding again.
So this is actually the last egg in the incubators. All the others are either in setting machines or in hatches.
Thankfully, it's the end of the process, not the beginning, so no need to hurry your children away. The hats and pads have done their thing, and this is the result. Team Lupton.
Which one's the male, sorry?
This is the male, so the smaller one.
Oh right, he's smaller though, yeah?
Yeah, the boys in birds of prey are generally smaller, so yeah, reverse sexual dimorphism. And so the boys are the weenie ones. They can get in a lot of trouble if they upset their ladies. Well, can't we all, but yeah, another week or so and we shall be in full-fledged flying.
You're getting more sleep now then?
Not yet. No, sleep will come soon. Why do I look incredibly haggard? Probably.
Soon these fluff balls will be performing aerial ballet, dancing to the tune of a row crow with choreographer Roy at the controls. Falconry's answer to Wayne's sleep.
Oh, look at her come in! No! When you think that she was this size, literally only just over 4 weeks ago. Yes, you're not eating it. Yes, I know you'd like to eat it. But it just goes to show. There we go. There we go.
So has she got a name?
This one is yet to be named. So, if anybody has got any suggestions for names, yeah. So we've got our whole new racing team to name, but historically we've gone for interesting names. Generally, we've gone for a Russian theme. So a Russian theme. So
they tend to be rude, Roy. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say rude. So no, we've had Tatiana the Russian Rectifier. We've had Valentina Moscow's Machiavellian. So we've got lots of different things like that. But that's tended to be our themes. But if anybody wants to come up with a new theme or something like that, we were going to go for a German theme and maybe Luftwaffe or something like that. No. As I say,
we will ask.
We will. Yeah. No. Ask, and if any of them do sound catchy. So if we've got any good suggestions or any themes, we've got quite a number in our new team. So as I say, if anybody can come up with any good suggestions, we will take them.
Because we're going to follow these birds through, yeah.
100%. Yeah. No. We're going to be doing a little mini series over the next few weeks, and we're going to be following the training. Obviously, it's not going to be long now. Today we're going to be jessing up these falcons. So they're going to be getting their equipment put on, and then obviously over the next week or two, then we're going to start the initial training, and before we know it, it's they're going to be up and chasing, and we're going to see what they're made of.
The best of the best will be competing at this year's Vowley British Falconry Races, where there are cash prizes for the best birds on the day and all classes of racing. Roy thinks it's a great way of bringing new people into the sport.
Won this competition, haven't you?
Sorry?
You've won it.
We've done well at it. We've done well at it. So we've been placed quite a few times. We've had a few very very near misses with it, but again, it's what keeps us coming back.
But it's great because it's obviously something that's challenging you now.
It is. No. That's it, and it's brilliant because there's more and more teams. There's more and more teams getting involved. A lot of people are not keen on the idea of falcon racing, but it is absolutely amazing. It's brilliant. A wonderful opportunity for people coming into falconry to come and watch it, to come and see what goes on, to come and see some of the abilities of the falcons and what can be achieved. Yeah, I'm getting really excited about it because it's finally we've got something that you can get everybody involved. The family can get involved, but if you've got a young person in your family, if somebody that's aspiring to get into falconry, that's looking to get into field sports, then it's the perfect event for them to go and have a look and be with like-minded people.
The speed of development of these birds is incredible, and over the coming month we will see them grow, start flying and train. For more information about upcoming Vowley falconry events, go to vowley.com. The next event is on the 23rd and 24th of July 2022.
Thanks, Roy. Now, what prize are we putting in front of the Fieldsports Nation this week? It's a £600 Form airgun stock, and you can watch our Form rifle stocks factory film by following the link below. Plus, you can join the Fieldsports Nation by following that link. Next, from falconry to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, brought to you by James Marchington, it is Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the top hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. In Australia, McHugh CB is flushing foxes with Dachshunds to his 3-barreled 20-bore. If you use a high seat, this one will get you thinking. It's the dramatised story of a US hunter's fight for survival after he fell and broke a leg. Northern Ireland shooter Hunter's Vermin has another channel, Nitro HV, for his powder burning shooting. In this film, he's waiting for hooded crows with his 2.2 Hornet, and patience eventually pays off. Owen Beardsmore of Service UK is out in the row rut, hoping to call in a malformed buck for knife maker Mark Zabrowski. Lanks Vermin Control is tackling a plague of farmyard rats with his 25 caliber FAC airgun and a sub 12 foot-pound 177. Gun manufacturer Mossberg has this film of a difficult turkey hunt in the USA. The gobbler won't come to the call, so they have to stalk in on hands and knees through the dry leaves and twigs. Back in the UK, Dave Carey returns to his favourite shoot in the Scottish borders for a day of high birds, good food and good company. And finally, here's Naomi SV on her harp music channel, getting photobombed by a deer. Her reaction when she spots it is priceless. Thanks to Andrew for sending that one in. That's it for this week. We've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email Charlie the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't done so, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It's out 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.